Hello again, I bring you some more business news. The UK High Commissioner Ian Walker has noted 6 areas that British investors will be eyeing in Ghana. These include agriculture, the financial sector, the textiles and garments industry, the extractive and domestic revenue mobilization, which he says are areas which can help drive Ghana's economy. He was speaking in an interview after a briefing session ahead of the 3rd edition of the UK-Ghana Council's business engagement, which will be held in Accra. It will attract a high-powered UK investment delegation.
When we will be welcoming UK ministers and some of our most senior officials from the UK government to meet with the Vice President as the chair of the Economic Management team, joined by the Minister of Finance, Minister of Trade, Minister of Planning, Minister of Agriculture and others. The purpose of the UK Ghana Business Council I think it's now been well proven in the first 2 of the meetings that we had. And it's about making sure that we each are honest with each other and clear with each other about the offer that we are looking to make. In the case of the UK, it's how we are bringing UK expertise, how we're bringing UK companies, how we're bringing UK finance, and how we're bringing UK programmes to support and enable the government of Ghana in its ambition to grow the economy in terms of investment, trade and jobs. We've done that by putting forward a very clear focus jointly with the government. That's a key part of this. It's a partnership in every sense of the word, where we have agreed with Ghana the 6 sectors that we are prioritising. Firstly, agriculture and agri-processing. Secondly, financial services. Thirdly, digital. Fourthly, pharmaceuticals. Fifth, extractives. And 6th, textiles and garments. These are the 6 areas that we are prioritising, and through that making sure that we are focusing where we can best bring together expertise, where we can best bring together private sector investors, and where we can bring UK public sector investment and programmes.
Now, industry players in the downstream petroleum sector have suggested to government to take its hands off operations of the Tema oil refinery. This, they believe, will make the company more productive and reduce the persistent margins lost every year. CEO of the Chamber of Bulk Oil Distributors, Senyor Hossi, in an interview after the launch of the 2018 industry report, renewed the call, saying the coming on stream of some major refineries in Africa, including the Dangote refinery, will render toll inefficient if private sectors are not allowed to take over the company. The 2018 industry report gives an overview of how the downstream petroleum sector has performed in the previous year and gives recommendations for improvement. The report indicates that the Tema oil refinery has not been viable as expected during the year 2018, a situation attributed to government interference. According to the Chief Executive of the Chamber of Bulk Oil Distributors, Senyor Hossi, the growing petroleum industry needs a refinery operated by a private investor, hence the call for privatization.
So it's not in this situation just by some. It's because of the governance issues in there. It's politics that has made Tor what it is. But that story can change and must change. To really get capital in there, to turn it around in a sustainable way, you need some private or commercial orientation in the management of its affairs. You can't achieve that when you have politicians running the place. Politicians running the board or its entire system. The current Tor MD is doing very well. He's working hard to turn things around, but the confidence that's required will come with some private sector participation in it. Maybe a concession, possibly. We've discussed a possible lease arrangement or an outright divestiture.
He's been speaking about the implications of the coming on stream of Dangote refinery, which is expected to be the largest oil refinery in West Africa.
Dangote is dealing with a $12 billion humongous project. We don't need that much to turn around Tor. If you have the management right, maybe you probably will need a tenth of that or probably a fifth of that. You know, you may need probably a lot more engineering analysis to come to that conclusion. Desulfurizers and all that to make it modern. Because there's cost that's already in there. It's like this house, you can't do anything about it. You've built it already. So you're thinking of how to occupy it, right? But when you're now going to build it, then you start thinking about, will I get a rental income or not get a rent? But here you are, you've built it already, so you might as well just rent it. You understand? So once we have what we have gives us a certain step a bit ahead. And we have a market here. If we don't try and take control over the market now, and Dangote is the one who's going to take over this market.
According to the industry reports, the energy sector levy has reduced the toll debt to about 1,673 million cedis as of August 2019. The Institute for Fiscal Studies, IFS, is asking government to dissolve the Ghana National Petroleum Corporation, GNPC, or establish a new law for it. According to the Institute, the GNPC has over the years moved away from its core mandate and engaged in corporate social responsibilities which are eating into its profitability. Bismarck Ausa was at the press conference on the management of GNPC's revenue and the Ghana Petroleum Funds organized by the Institute for Fiscal Studies.
2018, the GNPC had invested about $29 million in its CSR activities alone, compared to $5 million in 2017, a situation the Institute describes as loss-making. Speaking to Joy Business, the executive director of the IFS, Professor Newman Kusi, has called for an overhaul of the laws governing the Ghana National Petroleum Corporation.
GNPC was established by an act 1983. It's 36 years now, and there's nothing as far as oil exploration and production and development is concerned. There's nothing that GNPC has got to show to us. Okay, so we are saying that maybe it's because of the law, the way the law that established GNPC and those type of things. So let us amend the law or formulate or produce a new law that will force or make GNPC to focus on its key responsibility: exploring oil, develop the oil, and produce the oil.
He has, however, called for the dissolution of the GNPC if the corporation continues on this trajectory of engaging in loss-making activities.
The question is, what are we getting from GNPC as far as its mandate, the mandate that established the organization? What are we getting out of it? So if we are not getting out of it, then why do we have to continue to have the organization exist?
But don't you think this is to the extreme?
Well, I don't think it is the extreme. We were established to do ABCD. This ABCD that you are established to do, for which you are finding you are not doing it, it means that you are incapable of doing it, and therefore we should take it away from you.
Meanwhile, the IFS is also calling for an amendment to the Petroleum Revenue Management Act, PRMA, to effect the annual budget funding amount. Senior Research Fellow of the Institute, Leslie Dwight-Mensah, bemoans the lack of clarity in the PRMA regarding the Minister of Finance's authority to set a ceiling on the Ghana Stabilization Fund.
The law should say that at all times the balance should not be less than a certain level. That's a floor. It means you can't go below that floor. And this floor, because the Stabilization Fund is intended to alleviate shortfalls in petroleum revenues allocated to the budget, this floor could be set as a percentage of the ABFA, of the annual budget funding amount. So in the budget, if the minister projects his revenue expected to come into the budget, the ABFA, he could then say, for example, or the law could require that you should at all times have a minimum of 40% of the ABFA projection in the Stabilization Fund.
The IFS has also called for transparency in reporting the country's petroleum revenue performance. Bismarck Ausa, Joy Business.
Now, the Center for Extractives and Development Africa is imploring journalists to charge government to desist from capping the Mining Development Fund. Executive Director of the Center, Emmanuel Kunyole, says the ministry's incessant release of half of the 20% of the fund due them has impoverished mining sectors. Mr. Kunyole says though the objectives of the establishment of the Mineral Development Fund were well intended, evidence from mining enclaves has shown operation of the fund had encountered major difficulties.
So there are a lot of
Mr. Kunyole said communities still lacked basic infrastructure, adding that the utilization of the revenues from the mineral resources over the past decade had failed to address basic needs and problems associated with mining.
Yeah, I was saying that the Minister of Finance is doing this on the back of the Capping Act, which was passed in 2018. So basically what is happening is that this law was passed in 2016. Another law was passed in 2018, which empowers the Minister of Finance to cap all statutory funds. So this is being treated by the Ministry of Finance as a statutory fund. Just like education fund, whatever fund. That's the way he's treating it. So your question is, how do we address this? I give an example of this Assembly Common Fund. Was it this Assembly Common Fund? Yes. Well, somebody went to court last year. Was it this year? Last year. They were MPs who went to court to challenge the Minister of Finance for capping the Assembly Common Fund. The court held that actually the minister cannot cap. They cannot use the Capping Act to cap the Common Fund. So Common Fund has been excluded. So one way is, since we have written and it appears the minister is not budging, one way is to test the law. So basically, and I said this, I said, if you listen to the minister, listen to whatever the government is doing on mining communities.
Time now to take a look at the commodities for today. And that'll be it for business news tonight. Many thanks for your company. For more business news, log on to myjoyonline.com/business. My name is Emmanuel Abuaji. Have a good evening.